Hello everyone, welcome to the 2018 CAA Women's Basketball Media Day show on Twitter presented by Under Armour. I'm Bobby Broyles along with Jamie Corin, and over the next hour we are going to go around the league previewing team by team and looking at the storylines heading into what should be another exciting season in CAA Women's Basketball.
That's right, Bobby. We have a great show for you today, and we will hear from all 10 head coaches and selected student athletes as they give us a glimpse of what to expect here for the 2018-19 season.
Before we get started, it is time to officially release the 2018 CAA Women's Basketball preseason team and the predicted order of finish. Now we introduce to you the CAA Women's Basketball preseason Player of the Year, James Madison Jr. guard Kamaya Smalls. Now here's the rest of the preseason All-CAA Women's Basketball first team. Bianca Boggs, William & Mary. Jess Jenko, Northeastern. Lexi Barrier, James Madison. Bailey Greenberg, Drexel. Now here's a look at the preseason All-CAA Women's Basketball second team. Kelly Kashuta, James Madison. Nakaya Mayo, Towson. Boogie Brzezowski, Hofstra. Saudia Munford, Elon. Simone DeFries, Delaware. JMU landed in the top spot in the CAA Women's Basketball predicted order of finish. All 5 starters returned from last year's 23-11 squad that reached the third round of the WNIT. JMU is followed by Drexel. The Dragons earned a share of the CAA regular season title a year ago and reached the championship game in last year's CAA Women's Basketball Championship. Elon rounds out the top 3. The two-time CAA defending champions became the first number 3 seed in last year's CAA tournament to claim the conference title since 1992. For more on the preseason all-conference teams and predicted order of finish, visit CAAsports.com. Welcome back, everyone. It is now time to preview our first team for today as we take a look at the CAA preseason favorites, the JMU Dukes. Jamie, it was another great season for the Dukes, finishing with over 20 wins once again and advanced to the third round of the WNIT.
Yeah, James Madison turned in a 23-11 overall record, including a 16-2 mark in CAA play, tying for the conference regular season title. The title was the Dukes' 4th CAA regular season crown in 5 years. JMU won 10 straight conference games to open CAA action, reaching at least 23 victories for the 13th consecutive season. The Dukes fell in the CAA tournament semifinals to eventual champions Elon, but advanced to the postseason to the WNIT third round, falling to West Virginia. There is plenty to be excited about in Harrisonburg as all 5 starters return to head coach Sean O'Regan's squad, the only team in the CAA that can boast that.
Here is head coach Sean O'Regan on the return of his starting lineup.
But for me, again, there's nothing I'm resting on. Like, okay, we've got 5 starters returning. For me, that doesn't matter. It's not playing a factor for me at all because, you know, if you're Logan Reynolds, you still got to own your spot. You still got to earn your minutes. If you're Kamaya Smalls, you still got to earn your minutes. If you're whoever. So for me, it does give us a leg up as far as just the experience of what they've been through. But as far as, you know, again, focusing on the process and really staying present with our goals and what we're trying to do here, I think that's just a detail where it's a good thing, sure. I wouldn't want to return 0 starters, But our focus is really just coaching this team and making this team as good as we can make it, and let that be it, and let the media talk about how we return 5 starters.
The Dukes do come in at the top spot in the CAA predicted order of finish, and rightfully so, Jamie, with all the talent that returns on this roster.
Absolutely. The Dukes are led by preseason player of the year, Kamaya Smalls, who was rookie of the year 2 seasons ago and on the first team last year. Smalls led the Dukes with 15 points per game, 3rd best in the CAA. Last season, along with Smalls, all CAA accolades also went to Lexi Barrier, who earned 2nd team honors, averaging 12.0 points per game, while Kelly Casciuto's 12.9 points per game and 47.9 field goal percentage were both top 10 marks in the CAA and landed her on the All-CAA 3rd team.
Here is Kamaya Smalls on a personal goal she will be looking to take on in 2018-19.
I'm hoping to take a big step in my career, and I'm hoping to bring back a Player of the Year award this year, and just keep building on my game and just keep rising as much as I can.
The JMU Dukes will tip off their 2018-19 season at home against George Washington on Thursday night, November the 8th at 7 o'clock. Moving on to Drexel on today's CAA Women's Basketball Media Day show on Twitter. Nothing new for the Dragons, Jamie, as once again they finished with another 20-plus win season and a trip to the WNIT, and coming up just short in last year's CAA Championship title game.
Drexel posted the most successful regular season in program history with 24 wins and earned a share of its 2nd CAA regular season title with a 16-2 mark. The Dragons advanced to the championship game of the CAA tournament and earned a postseason berth for the 9th time in 10 years, where they reached the 2nd round of the WNIT. Drexel was the top defensive team in the CAA, allowing just 55.2 points per game and topping the conference in steals. The Dragons will be looking to replace their leader, Kelsey Lidge, who was a 2nd team All-CAA honoree, to go along with earning all defensive team accolades after leading the Dragons in both scoring and rebounding.
Here is Coach Dillon on her goals and expectations for the Dragons this season.
Well, it's doing something every day is the goal. Just getting better at our craft, showing up every day at practice, willingness to learn and get better. So if we're doing that at practice, then it'll take care of itself when the games roll around. Can't set a number on what we're expecting, but just the willingness to get better together.
As you mentioned earlier, Jamie, the Dragons will have to replace the leadership of Kelsey Lidge and will turn to players such as Bailey Greenberg to fill that role.
That's right, Bobby. Bailey Greenberg earned 2nd team All-CAA accolades after leading the Dragons with over 11 points per game. She will have some help as senior Aubrey Brown comes off a season where she started all 35 games and knocked down 38 three-pointers while averaging 9.8 points per game. We also can't forget about Hannah Nihill, who was honored as the CAA Rookie of the Year after contributing 6.3 points per game and making 65 steals.
Here is Bailey Greenberg on how she will be taking on more of a leadership role for the Dragons.
Definitely being more vocal. Last year in the 2-3 especially, I had Woods and Kelsey with me. They were tremendous defensive players, tremendous leaders, and now I have to take it on the role that they played last year and help my other teammates out as we figure out how to stop other teams on defense.
Drexel opens up the 2018-19 season at home in the DAC on Friday night, November the 9th at 7 o'clock versus Quinnipiac. The 2-time defending CAA champions are due up, and what a memorable season it was for the Elon Phoenix, Jamie, as they once again captured the CAA title, and again in a hostile environment.
Yeah, it definitely was another outstanding season for Elon, which went 25-8 overall and captured its 2nd consecutive CAA championship. The Phoenix strung together a Division I program record 13-game winning streak from January 28th to March 10th and became the first number 3 seed to claim the CAA title since 1992. In conference play, Elon led the league in scoring offense, field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, and rebound margin. The back-to-back champions will look a little different this season with no seniors on the team.
Here is Coach Charlotte Smith on how she will be able to bring together this young Elon team.
Well, the biggest thing is making sure that you have a good culture in order to bring a young team together. They have to understand the vision, the mission, and the values of our program, and I think we've done a good job of that. And the great thing is that we have a great freshman class. They all are teachable and they're working really hard. So, you know, if you can get people working hard and on one accord, I feel like you can do really great things.
With this team not having any seniors, Coach Smith will have to turn to her juniors for leadership and in particular last year's CAA Defensive Player of the Year, Jada Graves.
Elon has to replace 3 starters, including all-conference standouts Shea Burnett and Malaya Johnson. But there is still plenty of talent on hand. Returning to the starting lineup are sophomore guard Saudia Munford, who made the CAA All-Rookie team, and junior guard Lexi Mercer. The Phoenix also have most of their top reserves, who played a huge role in the team's success in 2017-18, including who you said, Bobby, CAA's Defensive Player of the Year in Jada Graves, who led a stout defense with 73 steals. It will be an exciting start to the season as the Phoenix will be able to unveil their championship banner in the new Schar Center, welcoming North Carolina to Elon.
Despite this team being very young, Jada Graves set the bar high for the Phoenix this season. Take a listen.
Just to be a 3-time champion, I feel like we're more than capable of doing that again. And even advancing further in the NCAA tournament, I feel like we have the potential to do that as well.
The 2-time defending champs begin their 2018-19 season in their brand new home, the Schar Center, Tuesday night, November the 6th at 7 o'clock against North Carolina. It is now time to preview our 4th team for today as we take a look at Delaware. An incredible season under first-year head coach Natasha Adair as the Blue Hens finished with a 19-win season and a trip to the WNIT.
It was a great first year for Natasha Adair, who led the Blue Hens to the CAA semifinals and the WNIT. The Blue Hens won 19 games and earned their first postseason berth since 2014 in the WNIT. The Blue Hens have a lot to look forward to at the end of the regular season as they will be hosting the 2019 Women's Basketball Championship.
Here is head coach Natasha Adair on what we can expect in her second year at the helm for the Blue Hens.
Oh, well, one of our mottos, and I'm a big motto person, is one more. You're going to see that everywhere, and we want to give more. You know, last year I think we just scratched the surface. They were getting to know us as a staff. We're getting to know them as players. They're trying to figure out exactly what are they talking about, what are we asking them to do. But you saw kind of conference play, tail end of the season, it start to turn. You saw the competitiveness, you saw the camaraderie, you saw the fight. And so we want to continue that. We want to be consistent in that effort, in that discipline, in that focus. But you look to see us give one more in every aspect of the game.
The Blue Hens were delivered a blow early on, losing last year's Player of the Year, Nicole Inabosi, for the season due to injury.
Yeah, Nicole Inabosi was a huge impact for Delaware, earning CAA Player of the Year last season after averaging a double-double with 18 points and 11 rebounds per game. But even without Inabosi, 4 starters will return for the Blue Hens, in addition to Makeda Nicholas, who averaged over 11 points per game last year before suffering a leg injury. Simone DeFries posted over 11 points and 7 rebounds per game and will be counted on, along with Nicholas, to control the interior. In all, Delaware has plenty of scorers returning from last year that should boost Coach Adair's squad in 2018-19.
Makeda Nicholas took some time to tell us what she learned last year sitting out due to injury.
I think I pretty much learned, overall I learned how to talk to my teammates the most. So I think I recognized what motivated my teammates and what didn't motivate some of my teammates. So I think I pretty much keyed in on all personalities so I would be able to work with them better next year. I wanted to know, pretty much to get to know my teammates a little bit better so we have a better chemistry on the court.
The Blue Hens will be on the road to start the 2018-19 season with a visit to Northern Iowa Friday night, November the 9th, a 9:30 tip in the preseason WNIT. Northeastern is now up on the 2018 CAA Women's Basketball Media Day show on Twitter. A winning season for the Huskies last year as this team earned a trip to the postseason in the WBI.
Northeastern set the school record for most CAA regular season victories during the 2017-18 campaign, winning 11 games to tie Delaware for 4th place. The Huskies made their first postseason appearance since 1999 and their 8th in program history as they hosted Yale in the WBI. Northeastern placed 3 student-athletes onto all-conference teams as Jess Janko was selected to the All-CAA first team, while Claudia Ortiz was a third-team selection and Stella Clark earned all-rookie team honors. Kelly Cole keeps improving the program every year, heading into her 5th season.
Here is Northeastern head coach Kelly Cole on what we can expect from her team this upcoming season.
You know, I think our overall goal is we want to win the conference this year. And I think this is the first year that I can honestly say, hey, we're in a position to actually make that a reality. I think the players, the coaches, I think the support and the excitement around the entire building is that this is what we're expecting to do. And we're going out every day, you know, to make that happen.
The Huskies return a lot of familiar faces, in particular 1,000-point scorer Jess Janko.
You certainly can't miss Jess Janko, who leads 3 returning starters who averaged 10 or more points per game last season. Janko was 4th in the CAA in scoring at 14.8 points per game and 3rd in assists with 5.1 per game, while her 3.1 three-pointers per game paced the CAA. Gabby Giacconi's 7.3 rebounds per game ranked 12th in the CAA, while she added 11.1 points per game. Junior Shannon Todd posted 10.0 points per game and hit 1.8 threes, good for 5th in the CAA. In her freshman campaign, we can't forget to mention Stella Clark, who came off the bench to average 8.3 points and 26.7 minutes per game. As you can see, there are plenty of pieces returning to this Huskies puzzle.
Here is Jess Janko on how she will take more of a leadership role being a senior.
I think that I've been kind of in a leadership role in the past, kind of just with the nature of my position as point guard, you know, like knowing what to do on the court and providing guidance there. But I think like moving into like these upperclassmen years, especially a senior, I think it's a lot about forming those relationships with the underclassmen. Because I don't have a ton of time with them, you know. For the freshmen, I've only got 1 year. So kind of getting them to have that trust in me to come to me if they have questions, and me being able to say, this is how we do things here, I think.
The Huskies will square off with inner-city rival Boston University to begin the season on Friday, November the 9th at 12 noon. Moving on to William & Mary on today's CA Women's Basketball Media Today show on Twitter. 2nd consecutive winning season for the Tribe last year as Ed Swanson continues to keep the program on the rise heading into 2018-19.
William & Mary proved to be one of the toughest interior teams in the country, finishing 3rd nationally with 7.3 blocks per game. The Tribe placed 2 players on the CAA All-Defensive team, with both Abby Rendell and Bianca Boggs earning recognition. With 9 blocks on December 17th, Rendell passed Elena Deladon as the CAA's career blocks leader, finishing her career with 350 blocks. With 16 wins, William & Mary posted its 2nd consecutive winning season, marking the first time since 2005-06 and 2006-07 the Tribe posted back-to-back winning seasons. The Tribe had a great non-conference start, going 9-3, but struggled a bit in CAA play, finishing 6th with a 7-11 record.
Here is Coach Swanson on how this program will continue to build on the momentum of back-to-back winning seasons.
Well, the key word is development. We've got to continue to develop our players. I'm excited to see what our freshman class, now sophomore class, has developed. I think they're going to be a big part of what we're going to do this year. But our players have got to continue to get better, and as our players continue to get better, we'll continue to get better as a program.
One of those players Coach Swanson will look to keep developing is Bianca Boggs, who really busted onto the scene last year for the Tribe.
Yes, after earning first-team All-CAA recognition, in addition to all-defensive team honors, Bianca Boggs will shoulder the load for the Tribe. In her junior year, Boggs was 2nd in the CAA with 15.2 points per game and 4th with 2.2 steals per game. Victoria Reynolds was one of 4 William & Mary players to average double figures in scoring and returns for her junior year after averaging 10.3 points and grabbing 7.1 rebounds per game, 2nd best on the team. Reynolds was 9th in the CAA, hitting 46.3% of her attempts from the field, while Nyla Pollard earned all rookie team accolades, starting 27 of the Tribe's 30 games and averaging 4.1 points and 1.5 steals per game.
Here is Bianca Boggs on being a senior captain for this year's team.
Drawing from my experiences, I've played a lot of minutes over the years, so I think just being able to impart that on my teammates and the younger ones especially, to help them understand what it takes to play at a high level in this conference, and just pulling from what I know to help them.
William & Mary opens up the 2018-19 season at home on Tuesday night, November the 6th at 7 o'clock versus VCU. UNCW is now up on today's show. A tough season for the Seahawks in year one under new head coach Karen Barefoot, but this team did pick up a win in the CAA tournament, so can we expect improvements in year two, Jamie?
I think we definitely can. In head coach Karen Barefoot's first year at the helm of the UNCW program, the Seahawks posted a 12-19 record, including a 4-14 mark in CAA play, tying for 8th in the conference standings. For the second consecutive year, UNCW won its first-round game in the CAA tournament. Building the program has definitely been key for Coach Barefoot, who has restocked the lineup. The Seahawks will feature 9 newcomers, including eligible transfers and freshmen, to complement returning leading scorer Lacey Suggs.
We caught up with head coach Karen Barefoot on the team's goals and expectations heading into year two.
Anything can happen. I mean, I want to win every day. Okay, and I say that we're going to be competitive. I think this team is going to do some special things, but as we go, we want to be the last team standing up in March. So we're just going to try to win every single day, hold them to a higher standard. I think that we can do some great things because we can score the ball. We can definitely rebound the ball, and defensively, we're all going to commit to doing that. So very excited about this year.
One player that will look to take this UNCW program to the next level will be last year's captain junior Lacey Suggs.
Suggs, who led UNCW in scoring as a sophomore with 11.8 points per game off the bench, is among 3 returners who averaged over 5.0 points per game last season. Suggs was 14th in the CAA in scoring, while also finishing among the top 15 in field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and offensive rebounding. The Seahawks bring back 2 starters from last year's team, Timber Tate and Mariah Crisp. Tate knocked down 1.8 three-pointers per game, 6th best in the CAA, while Crisp's 4.0 assists per game were 7th in the conference. It will be exciting to see what the new Seahawk faces will bring to the court this season.
Here is Lacey Suggs on what we can expect from her game this upcoming season.
I mean, obviously I like to drive to the basket. I think this year you'll see me more in the post. You'll see more of me as a 4. I'll be shooting a little bit more this year. So.
UNCW opens up the 2018-19 season in Trask Coliseum on Tuesday night, November the 6th at 7 o'clock versus Belmont Abbey. Now we take a look at Towson, and Jamie, the Tigers had a tough season, but just like UNCW, the program will look to improve under year 2 for head coach Diane Richardson.
In head coach Diane Richardson's first season at the helm of the Tigers, Towson scored 90 points twice, the first time since 1985-86, in which the Tigers scored 90-plus points multiple times in the same year. Senior Mary Cuevas collected All-CAA accolades, being voted onto the second team and the All-Defensive team, after averaging 13.1 points per game, to go along with 9 rebounds and 2.1 blocks per game. Led by Cuevas, the Tigers were among the top teams in the country at blocking shots, finishing tied for 23rd nationally with 169 blocks. The Tigers will have to replace Cuevas and double-digit scorer Rain Bankston.
Here is head coach Diane Richardson on the growth of her team from year 1 to year 2 at the helm.
Just the chemistry. I think our culture has changed. We're much more in tune with each other, and I'm seeing it in practice every day.
Towson will look to turn to junior Nakaya Mayo, who will look to build off a very strong sophomore season.
Just as you said, Bobby, the Tigers will have to lean on returning starters Nakaya Mayo and Danielle Durjan in Richardson's second year. Mayo ranked in the top 10 in the CAA in both scoring and rebounding, ranking 8th with 12.6 points per game and 2nd with 9.0 rebounds per game, earning all CAA third-team accolades. Mayo's 5.0 offensive rebounds per game was 5th nationally, while Danielle Durjan was among the CAA's leader in both steals and three-point shooting, recording 1.7 steals and 1.5 threes per game.
Here is Nakaya Mayo on the team's goals and expectations heading into the start of the season.
We have a lot of goals. I feel that with the team that we have this year, there are so many great players in different aspects that we can potentially, we're going to win the CAA. Like, it's there.
Towson will begin their 2018-19 season on the road at ACC opponent Wake Forest on Tuesday, November the 6th at 7 o'clock. Two teams remain on today's show on Twitter. Time to take a look at Hofstra and Jamie head coach Krista Kilburn-Staveski will look to continue to get this program back on the winning track after a tough couple of seasons for the Pride.
The season got off to a promising start for Hofstra last year, which improved to 10-8 overall and 4-3 in the CAA after a win over William & Mary on January 19th. However, several injuries to key players contributed to a difficult finish as the Pride dropped 11 of their last 12 contests. Just 3 years ago, this team finished with 25 wins, and they are looking to get back to that success.
Here is one of the senior leaders, Boogie Brzozowski, on the goals and expectations for the Pride this season.
My goals and expectations for Hofstra this season is obviously to have a way better season than we had last year. Win more than 11 games. 20 games is definitely our goal. But like I said before, just seeing us compete and play hard and never give up, that's really what I'm looking forward to.
As we said earlier, Jamie, this team was one of the youngest teams in the league last year, which is good news for the Pride moving forward.
Hofstra has made 5 postseason appearances during head coach Krista Kilburn-Staveski's 12-year tenure, and the Pride will try to return to their winning ways with 3 returning starters. Queens native Boogie Brzozowski will be leading the charge when Hofstra returns to the court. The point guard led the Pride with 13.0 points and 3.6 assists per game in 20 contests last season, and will be joined by a large junior class that has gained valuable experience and a talented group of newcomers. Forward Marianne Kalin returns after averaging 8.4 points and 5.7 rebounds a season ago, while classmate Alexis Davis will look to build on her 8.3 points and 3.0 assists per game.
Here is head coach Krista Kilburn-Staveski on how the young players will impact this year's team.
I always say that you're best as a coach with the maturation process when your sophomores become juniors. So having the youngest team last year and really now get to relish a little bit with their experience and being led by 2 seniors out of Boogie and Sika. So I'm really excited for that part and that piece of the season here.
Hofstra will begin their 2018-19 season at home versus Iona at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, November the 6th, and can be seen live on CA.TV. Last but not least, taking a look at College of Charleston to conclude the 2018 CA Women's Basketball Media Day show. The Cougars struggled in 2017-18, but were able to gain some momentum heading into this past offseason with a win in the CA tournament.
Despite a disappointing regular season going 7-24, Charleston came up big in the CAA tournament with an 88-72 victory over Hofstra in the first round. The Cougars shot 52.2% from the floor, including 8 of 16 from three-point range in the win. Despite the tough season, it gives Coach Candace Jackson a foundation to build upon, with the team realizing what it takes to win in the CAA throughout summer workouts.
We caught up with senior guard Darian Huff on how she has seen this program grow in her first 3 seasons with the Cougars.
Well, culturally, each year it's gotten better through aspects of communication, energy, effort, leadership, and it continues to grow and get better each year.
Head coach Candace M. Jackson will be looking to that senior leadership of a Darian Huff, along with Bree Sullivan, as this program continues to develop.
Charleston returns 3 starters and the majority of its top reserves. Darian Huff and Kaylin Dorsey combined to make 85 three-pointers last season, and both shot better than 35% from beyond the arc. In addition to Huff and Dorsey, Deja Ford is Charleston's 3rd returning starter and actually led the Cougars with nearly 10 points per game last year. Bree Sullivan came off the bench to provide a spark when needed, and she will be looked at as a senior leader.
Here is head coach Candace M. Jackson on what we can expect from the Cougars this season.
You know what, honestly, it's really to get better day to day. There's nothing, obviously we want to win a CAA championship. I think that's the goal for everybody. But in reality, because we do have such a young team, I want to see them mature. I want to see them grow. I want to see them work together. I want to see them work as hard as they possibly can, day in and day out. We talk about winning a championship. We talk about playing for a championship. We talk about having championship mentality, and we see that, and we're able to model some of that behavior from our men's team who had an incredibly successful season last year. And so when you see that every day and you want to be that, you know what you need to do.
College of Charleston opens up their season at home on Wednesday, November the 7th versus North Greenville University, a 6:30 tip that can be seen live on CA.TV. That completes the 2018 CA Women's Basketball Media Day show. If you missed any of the team previews, you can watch today's show here on our Twitter handle at CA Basketball or on the CA's YouTube page.
Speaking of social media, Bobby, remember fans, you can follow the league today and throughout the season on many of our social media outlets, such as Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat by searching CAA Sports or on Twitter at CAA Basketball, and make sure to use that hashtag CAA Hoops.
Yep. CA Women's Basketball Media Day isn't over yet. Coming up this afternoon at 2 o'clock, log on to CA.TV and listen in on the CA Women's Basketball Media Day teleconference as members of the media will have their opportunities to ask questions to the coaches and student athletes to get their perspective on the upcoming 2018-19 season.
And fans, you can participate as well. Send in your questions to Twitter at CAA Basketball, and once again, remember to use that hashtag CAA Hoops, and you might hear your question asked on the air.
That is it from us here on Twitter. Thank you, fans, for tuning in, and we look forward to the start of the 2018-19 season. For Jamie Corrin, I'm Bobby Broyles. Have a great day, everyone.